It is about time when we mix SOQL and Apex, because honestly we cannot keep writing these SOQL queries in developer console forever. We need these SOQL queries in our Apex logic to retrieve those records from the Salesforce objects and then if needed modify those records as well. If you are thinking that writing SOQL in Apex is going to be complex stuff, no, nothing is going to be complex here. We already know about Apex and variables, and now we know about SOQL queries as well. So we are just going to mix the syntax of both and we are going to create one single statement. We are already familiar with this SOQL query where we retrieve name and phone from the account object. Now to assign the result of this SOQL query to a Apex variable, we just need a list of account. So this is how we are going to write it. List of account, and then we are going to give a variable name to this list of account which we can call accounts, and the SOQL query is simply going to assign the result to this accounts variable. The only catch here is you need to put the SOQL query within square brackets and then only it's gonna work. So these square brackets tell your Apex compiler that you are going to write a SOQL query within these, and your compiler is simply going to run this SOQL query, retrieve the results from it, and then going to put that result into accounts variable. Now if you want to get the name and from this accounts variable, you simply need to use the dot operator, and we have seen it a lot of time in this course. This dot operator is being used everywhere. We use it in Apex, we use it in SOQL as well. And if you want to retrieve a field value from your SOQL query's result, then you will use it like this, maybe like account.name, where account would be our variable and name is something that we are going to retrieve from the SOQL query. You will understand it better when we will write the code in our developer console. So let's go back to the developer console and try out a few examples. So let's first write a simple SOQL query on account object. And this is going to return all the account records in our Salesforce org. Now we will use this SOQL query in Apex as well. So let's open our anonymous window and I'm going to resize it. Let's first create a list to hold all our account records. And here in place of the data type, we are going to write account. We have seen this list collection with the primitive data types like integer or strings, but this is the first time when we are using it for a Salesforce object. So you can have a collection data type like list, set or map for a Salesforce object as well. So here our object name is account. If you want to keep a list of contact, you can do that as well. And if you want to keep a list of a custom object, you can do that as well. For example, if you write list of book _c, that is also fine. You can keep a list of custom objects as well. For now we need a list of account, and we are going to name it as accounts. And here let's copy our SOQL statement and paste it. And remember, we need to write this SOQL query within square brackets. And let's add our semicolon after that. So that's it. If you'll execute this code, we shouldn't see any error. And it's going to open our logs. And if we'll scroll down, then you will see that as part of this Apex execution, an SOQL query was executed. And the SOQL query was select name, phone from account. And it returned 13 rows. Now let's print these 13 rows in our own debug statements, because if you click on debug only, nothing will show up here as we don't have any debug statement in our code. So I'm going to open my anonymous window again and I'm going to iterate over this accounts list and I'm going to fetch the name and phone from each and every account. So I'm going to use my for loop for list or set. So this is how it works. For, then a local variable's data type, then maybe the name, and after that empty list of account, which is this one. If this syntax is new for you, then please revise the control flow statement module in this course where we have discussed about all type of loops. Here we are iterating over all the accounts and we have a local variable called account, and this local variable is going to hold the values of name and phone for each iteration. So I'm going to put a debug statement here, and in this debug statement I'll simply say account name, and then I'm going to append my account name here, which will be account, that is my local variable. And as I said, you need to use a dot operator to get the field value, which is name. So account dot name. Then let's add the phone as well, account phone, and then I'm going to use account dot phone. So this way we should be able to print all 13 accounts name and phone, because we are putting this debug statement within a for loop. So this debug statement is going to run 13 times, which is the list size of accounts variable. So let's execute this code. We are not seeing any error, that means our code is fine. Let's click on this debug only checkbox here, and here we are getting all our account name and phone. So this is how you can use SOQL queries in Apex, and here we have retrieved a list of account. In place of list of account, if you want to retrieve a map of account, that is also supported, and let's see an example of that. So I'm going to retrieve a map of ID and account. So this map is going to hold the account ID as the key and the account object's value as the value. So let's name it as accounts map, and we are going to use our same SOQL query, and that's it. We can again iterate over this accounts map very similar to how we are iterating over this account list using a for loop. So let's do that. Actually, let's copy this for loop from top and paste it again here. Now instead of accounts, I'm going to use my account map, and if you remember, we can get all the values from a map using a method called values. So this values method is going to return a list of account, which is pretty similar to what we are seeing on the line number 1. And here we again have a local variable called account, and the rest of the code remains same. So do you think it's going to work? Let's execute this code. Oops, we have got an error, and it says illegal assignment from list of account to map of ID and account. The reason is this statement right here is returning a list of account. So we need to explicitly convert it to a map of account. And this is not anything difficult. We have already seen how we can create a new instance of map. We can use our new keyword, and then we can initialize a new map with ID and account. And then after that, we simply need one parenthesis, and within this parenthesis, we are going to use our SOQL query. So I'm going to remove everything from here. I have a parenthesis. Within this, I have my query, and after that, I'm going to close my parenthesis. So what this statement is doing, it's converting this list of account to a map of account. So now let's give this code another try, and do you think it's going to work this time? Let's see. Our code is working, and let's see if we are getting the correct output or not. So let's click on this debug only. I'm going to make some space here, and we are getting like 26 statements. First 13 are from the list of account, the next 13 are from the map of account. So this is how you can get a map of ID and the account from a account query. Now let's see one more example where we'll retrieve this data from a custom object. So actually I'm going to copy my line number 1 to 5, and I'm going to paste it here. And this time, instead of account, let's get the data from our book object. Let's search for the book object. Yeah, here it is. So we need to use the API name as book_c. So I'm going to replace that in my query, and same thing here as well, because remember the list can accept a object type which is book here, and we need to provide the API name of that object. Now we can get the name of the book, and the second field can be maybe like price. So let's copy it and paste it here. We need to make a few changes as well. Maybe like I'll rename this accounts variable to maybe like books. Let's copy this here, and we need a book variable, so we need to paste the data type here as well. And then we are going to name our local variable as book, then book.name and book.price. And here also we can rename it as like book price and book name. So this is how simple it is to get the data from the custom object as well. You simply need to replace the API name of that particular object, and in this example we have only replaced the account with book_c and the phone with price_c. Let's execute this code and hopefully it should work. Let's click on this debug only checkbox, and if you scroll down, then we are getting our book name along with the book price. So this is how you can use SOQL queries in Apex, and in the next video we will see how you can retrieve the data when you have relationship in your SOQL query.